Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hope everyone can see me and hear me, more importantly. And so, looking forward to this. I'm well caffeinated and ready to go. So, anyway, get a quick sound check. That will be wonderful. And we'll start in 5 minutes. And there's a lot to talk about today, obviously. And so, I appreciate all of you being here. I just want to wait until the total goes up a little bit here before I start making some major announcements. Okay. I'm just, looks like the chat's filling up. Fantastic. To the RV. Hold on to the RV life. Oh, I plan to. Hello from Florida. Wonderful. Okay. So let's see. I hope this thing didn't freeze up. You can't really tell if, if the sound's working. All I could see is, okay, we could hear you. Thank you, Yanni. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bex Bureau. Fantastic. Hi, Cindy. All right. So I wanted to just make a couple of quick announcements here. On the last video, I got a lot of comments about, oh, why are you repeating yourself? You have to understand, friends, there are a lot of new viewers that are tuning into me. And as you notice, my subscriber list has fortunately gone up big time. So first, I want to thank all of you that have been following me for a while, for the last couple of years. And then you've supported me and this work, because you guys are the sort of veterans of the channel and you kind of know what's going on and you have an idea. But every video I get thousands, I mean, literally thousands, because I check the stats. I get thousands of people that are new, that never heard this information before. And so, I have to kind of repeat myself sometimes because they don't know what's going on. So I'm here as sort of a messenger, like many others on here that are trying to get a message across. And we're trying to help people understand what's going on before they kind of lose their marbles and start taking everything personally, like, oh my God, my world's ending. Everything's falling apart. In one way it is. Because the energy that's coming in, as I've talked about from the Galactic Center, is very powerful. So first, like I said, I want to thank my core subscribers, the people who have been following me for several years that have been on my newsletter list. Of course, the people that joined my private community. Thank you so much for being there, and even the free community. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And, I'm going to be hopping on that call right after this one today. Every Sunday, I have a Zoom call, and we're going to be following up with this discussion in there. And in there, obviously, I could talk a lot more freely. And I will be covering what's going on. I will be going into some of the charts of public figures today, like RFK and Trump and Elon Musk. I will be doing that in the private community because there I could talk more freely. And I could really talk about what I know and what I think without worry about being censored. But here today, we're going to have a lot of information. There's going to be a lot of juicy information here. So for some of you that want some new intel, this is going to be a very important one. Now, the other thing I want to make mention, and I've tried to make mention of this the last few videos, don't overwhelm yourself with too much information. If you understand how this consciousness works, and I've kind of figured it out after, 40 plus years of studying human nature on every level, is that when you overwhelm yourself with too much information, the real information, in other words, the consciousness, the spirit, the intuition, everything that's below the surface has trouble getting through all that noise. Okay, so it's like, radio stations on a dial. They're all squished in together, and then the real station that you want is really hard to get to. So what I've been doing more of is I've been backing away from the news. I've been backing away from the internet, backing away from information that is constantly bombarding us, because that's how you tune into it. You let the noise settle, and then when you come in with a fresh perspective, you begin to see the clear picture. And the clear picture is we are being heavily bombarded by too much information, and this will only increase in the years to come, especially in 2025 with Pluto going into Aquarius and Uranus going into Gemini. This is going to be information overload, and it's already started with these eclipses. And I will be talking about that more in depth in just a few minutes, actually in about 30 seconds. But I'm just laying the foundation for what is actually happening, so you guys could understand and take the information and kind of center yourselves. And so this is why this is important every week, to not just remind people of who they are and what we're here to do. We are part of the Great Awakening. This community, my private community, every other YouTube channel that's trying to get information out on a spiritual and a deeper level. You know, the politics is nice and, you know, trying to understand all that garbage, but it is collapsing and we are being exposed to what's really going on. Okay, so with that said, I think we got enough people in here right now. Let's start the actual live chat. So this one I've called On the Precipice of Change. Now, just look around. You could see the change is everywhere, including feeling it in your body. We just had the lunar eclipse in Pisces, and now we're sandwiched in between the next eclipse, which is October 2nd. It's going to be in Libra. So anytime we're in that zone between two eclipses, which is usually about 2 weeks, the energy is off the charts. We feel either high energy, you know, excitement, enthusiasm, or we feel pressure to change or go in a new direction or to view the world in a different way. So this is what we're sandwiched in between right now as I'm doing this live stream. So this next eclipse is going to set off another wave of change. Now, for those of you that have been following me a while, you know that I've been talking about my vision from 2008, 2009 about the cosmic events that are going to occur. And again, I saw, and just to repeat for all the new people here, my vision was, and this was broad daylight, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in my kitchen, I started seeing all kinds of things coming, and I was shown clearly that the year 2024 into 2025 was going to be significant. And what I was shown was spacecraft flying around. I didn't know if they were ours or somebody else's. I was shown cosmic waves of energy coming in, and everything. We were all looking up because there was something going on in the sky. Now, with that said, we have some of the news that's out there right now is that there's a small asteroid that's coming into our galaxy. And this has been proven by other astronomers and other YouTubers, that it's going to be sandwiched in between the Earth and the moon. And some are calling it a mini moon. And it will be with us until Thanksgiving, until November 25th or so. It's going to be circling around the moon, which looks like we have a second moon, and we'll be able to see it in the broad daylight. And this will be in October. So maybe that's something that, you know, I interpreted in my mind as, you know, what was coming in. But this is going to be significant. Every time an asteroid or a large body comes into our solar system, it pulls energy. You have to think in terms of energy. Everything in this universe is made up of energy. Okay, whatever the source is, it's energy. So we are energy. When an object comes into our galaxy, it starts to interrupt the constant, you know, rotational field of the other planets, you know. So this object is coming in and we're tracking it, and it's going to be around the moon. So things related to earthquakes, earth movements, volcanoes, all of that stuff is very possible now. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but anytime we have that kind of energy coming in, it could absolutely change the dynamics of the Earth's magnetic field. Okay, just pure common sense. But notice where it's sandwiched in between. It's in between this Pisces full moon that just occurred and the solar eclipse coming in. And so this is going to set off a wave over the next 6 months. Now, again, if you've been following me for a while, you know I talked about it April 8th. That eclipse, the solar eclipse, was very important because it affected the United States. And the next alignment to that eclipse is going to be in October. The first or second week of October are going to be huge. So events related to anything that I talked about. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up. So anytime we have an eclipse, especially a solar eclipse, we look to the next 3 months, to the next 6 months to see how the next moon cycles will be affecting that eclipse. So remember, I said that on the third month, there is absolutely the activity gets bubbled up. And what do we have? We have Mr. T getting shot on the 13th, right in line with the 3-month cycle. Now we have the 6-month cycle coming up in October, the first week of October. So keep your eye on the first week or the second week of October for major developments in the news, such as wars, earthquakes, volcanoes, other political nonsense. The political theater is going to go off the charts from the end, or actually the middle of October, all the way through November the 5th here in the United States. Now, why do I say that? Because the astrology is indicating it. If you've been following my other videos during the, throughout the month, my new moon outlook videos, my update videos, I talk about how, and especially this next video coming up in October, I'll go over the overview. That should be out in a couple of days or so, maybe next week. Mars will be opposing Pluto. When Mars opposes Pluto, there's always tension, there's always conflict, there's wars, there's military intervention, there's chaos. It's just the way it works. And one is going to be in passionate Cancer, the other one's going to be in Capricorn. So this is going to be huge. So some of the news that's developing right now is the Middle East, the country that starts with IS. I'm not going to mention names because of the censorship garbage on here. That's why I have the private communities. The links are down below, by the way. And so that country, supposedly this morning, as I'm doing this video, looks like they might have dropped a major bomb in the Middle East there somewhere, a significant one, because somebody has a video with an event, a huge mushroom cloud, something that was really big. And so that was just dropped off in the middle of the night this morning. So again, we have to confirm it. Again, we don't even know what's real anymore because there's so much news that's being made up, and it's basically, to keep us locked into this mindset. But, we have to use our own intuition and judgment. So there's that going on, and that's absolutely going to escalate. Then we have the Russia situation with that other country, starts with a U. Okay. And if you follow some of my posts on social media, you know that country with the U, UK, not the England, UKR, they basically bombed one of Russia's ammunition sites this past week. And it's all over the internet. Okay. And I posted just a quick post on my Facebook and on YouTube and on X. So you could see the developments here. Now, why is this happening all at once? Because the chaotic situations that are escalating are being done on purpose. They're being orchestrated on purpose. Number one, they know astrology. They understand the cycles. They love the cycles. They love causing chaos because this is how they control humanity. And this is how they keep us in a lower vibration. So we're going to see a lot more of this chaos coming in around the world, especially in these countries that I kind of mentioned. And it's to keep us distracted. It's to keep us confused. It's to keep us in an anger mode. It's to keep us subconsciously in a place of, uncertainty, never to awaken to what's really going on. And that's why I'm here, and many others like me are on YouTube trying to tell people what's really going on. So we have those events. So absolutely the next couple of months, the rumblings of war, conflict, anything to do with disruption on a larger scale. You're going to see the news media constantly blow up, World War III is coming. Oh, there's another conflict here, and Russia's doing this and this is doing that. And, it's just going to keep going on and on and on because, again, that's the way they love to do it. So keep that in mind. Now, the other thing on a personal level, when we have eclipses like this coming in, especially in October, October eclipse is in Libra, the sign of relationships. So I know many of you, and I've seen it, are having issues with relationships. So because it's a solar eclipse, there is the possibility of new relationships being developed, of course. But because of the alignment to Mars, Mars is the god of war, the conflict, the irritator, the agitator, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be squaring that solar eclipse. So what does that mean? It means confusion. It means restlessness. It means irritability. So having to do with, relationships, there's going to be a lot of issues with other people and feeling, really irritating. So this is why you're seeing all kinds of outbreaks in supermarkets and in gas stations, and everywhere you go, people are on edge. And again, these are the average people that don't know what's going on, and they're blowing up. They're reacting because the pressure is building in them. So don't be one of those people. That's all I could suggest. Don't be one of those people where you get overwhelmed by too much. And let's not forget, the energy is going to be very high. When you have a solar eclipse and you have Mars involved, the energy is usually very high. And this leads me into the middle of the month of October, because then it starts going up. The energy starts going up because Mars is beginning to make this alignment with Pluto. And so this is going to be very important. Now, I talked about the galactic center, and the only other person that I hear talking about this is Cliff High. Okay. And he just did a program with John Claude on Rumble, and it was actually very good. Now, I've known about the galactic center for years, way before I even knew Cliff High, and his work. So I knew that because the vision's showing me energy coming in from the galactic center. And Cliff High is the only one that's talking about the same cosmic energy that just keeps coming in, and is affecting us physically and emotionally and psychologically. So there's that component going on. So don't overwhelm yourself with the news and information. And the second part is there's cosmic energy that's coming in that's very intense. And then we have the astrology on top of that. So you could see how things are starting to build. They're building up, they're building up, they're building up. And so in November, it really goes off the charts because Mars is going to be in an alignment to Pluto. Now, I want to ask you folks, and I mean this sincerely and genuinely, and you know that I said that I support Trump because he's awakening people, not that his politics and all this other, he has to say what he has to say in order to keep the followers going along. And I've said, but I want to pose this question to you folks that are big Trump supporters, okay? What if Trump doesn't win this election? What if they install Kamala again? What are you going to do? Or better yet, what do you think is going to happen to society in the United States if Trump again does not get in? Think about that for a second, because unfortunately, that is a real possibility. And I say that because I've looked at both of the charts and I see it is getting weird. No doubt about it. Okay. And both charts look really close. It's really hard to pinpoint which direction it's going to go in. But let's look at some of the previous elections. Here in Arizona, we had a person that didn't campaign for anything. Okay. She was basically not giving any interviews, and that's the governor of this state. I forgot her name. That's how important she is to me. Okay. And she was running against Kerry Lake. And she gets in because of corruption and because of, machines going down and all this other stuff. Okay. And she took them to court, and the court system is basically a captured operation. So she gets in. Then you have in Pennsylvania, you have somebody that's got a brain injury that can't even speak or, utter a couple of words, or yet, better yet, can't even dress himself properly, gets in over there as well. Do you see what I'm saying? This is almost like they are pushing us into some sort of civil war or conflict. And they know when to do it because the timing right now, as I said, we're coming into very volatile energy, extremely volatile for the United States, because we're going through the Pluto return, and we have Mars opposing Pluto, transiting and in the United States' chart on January the 6th. How's that for irony? Huh, friends? So they know that the energy that's coming in is great for inciting violence and confusion and irritation and frustration. So again, I say to you folks that are big Trump supporters, okay, what if he doesn't get in again and we see Kamala in there? What is going to happen? Unfortunately, many of us who are visionaries or astrologers or psychics, remote viewers, whatever you want to call us, okay, we see chaos. There is no easy way around this, friends. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic or trying to create this reality. No, the astrology is indicating a wave of massive change that has to occur, and it's going to occur in the United States. Whether that's the illegals starting to not protest, but doing their bidding for the deep state, which is basically going around and going to the major cities that they're in and causing a lot of chaos and havoc. And we've already started to see some of that stuff, friends. So it's already happening. But what I'm seeing is all this change that's coming just in the next 6 months. And it involves the political theater. It involves, volcanoes, eruptions, or weather-related anomalies caused by either that asteroid or the intense energy that's being pulled in because of the outer planets. Let's go into the outer planets. I've talked about this for a while. You've been following me a while. There's the 4 outer planets, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, that are in a square alignment behind the earth. And there's nothing in October, there's nothing in front of us. It's the sun and the earth. Everything is behind us. This is very important because the sun is a super powerful magnetic field of energy. And with these planets pulling behind the earth and the earth right in front of it, it's very possible we get these waves or solar flashes that hit the earth. And again, I said there is that possibility of power outages. There is that possibility of internet going down. There is that possibility of radio, being affected, some sort of radio technology. So that's all possible in the month of October going into November. That is all on the table. And so we have to really pay attention to what's going on here and stay centered. You see, you folks that are listening to me and those of us that are awake, not awoke, awake, are holding a certain frequency to keep people from going off the deep end. Oh my God, the world's ending. Oh my God, Trump's my savior. Oh my God, Camilla's going to do better. Oh my God, this. No, you don't buy into the garbage. You understand? Know that there's a transition happening. Stay centered within yourself. You control the energy within yourself and the people you surround yourself with. Okay? This is the most important thing. Say, okay, we're going through a transition. Okay, this happens. Great. I'm going to deal with it. Great. I'm going to prepare. In my last live stream, I said, how to prepare for this event or these events that are occurring that are going to continue to occur. And so we're going to see as much chaos coming our way, unfortunately, because the powers that shouldn't be or the powers that were, this is what they want. Chaos, anger, fear, overwhelming you with too much information, even coming from the right. Okay? Do you not see that, friends? This is huge, huge. The right, and again, it's about balance. You've got to understand the universe is constantly trying to balance equations. And yes, when I say universe, I mean the source, God, whatever name you want to give it. Okay? It's always trying to balance equations. What I mean by that, look at everything in nature. Okay? Look at reality. We have things like up, down, boy, girl, black, white, as above, so below, positive, negative. There's always a balance. Sometimes the balance is out of whack because it comes in to destroy and to awaken, to change the system. It's just how it works. And then it's dormant for a long period of time. This is one of those times where the energy that's coming in is off the charts, completely off the charts. There'll be days where it's, sky high. And you feel like you're losing your mind because so much information is coming in and you're sitting there, on your TV or laptop or computer or phone or whatever you're on, and you're being overwhelmed by too much information, and you're pushing further and further away from who you are. This is why I'm in nature right now. I go out every day. I'm in my RV right now. I am in nature on purpose because that's real. Watching the birds flying around, watching the clouds, the real clouds, watching the trees, being around water, feeling a connection to it all, that's the real world. That is real. That's alive. That's movement. What's being done before us is artificially created for power and control, for distraction, for keeping us at a lower vibration. They've done this through movies. They've done this through religions. They've done this through information on the internet. They've done this pitting people against each other. I remember reading years ago about, the Illuminati and their plan. This was in the 1800s. They wrote about it extensively of how they were going to how they were going to destroy people. And the first thing they were going to do is destroy the family because they knew that you destroyed the nucleus of the family, you got control, especially the young kids. This is why the second thing was take over the religious institutions. And yes, they use their puppets in the religious institutions as well to keep people following them along so they don't think deeper for themselves. And the other one was to pit people against each other. One of the things I remember reading about was they were going to pit white people against black people and control the black people, give them money, keep them in their low level vibration, you see. And now you see that. We clearly see that. And now it's escalated to genders. It's escalated to, other areas. And so this is a way of controlling humanity. Keep us distracted. Keep us fighting each other while they do all their bidding on the backside. You understand? So We have so much going on. Just look at the news. P. Diddy, okay, getting arrested, indicted, and all that stuff. Now, this is huge news because if you've been following my channel, others, and I have to be very careful what I say here. Again, I'll be on my Zoom call right after this one in my private community. Link down below. I will be going more in depth to all this. P. Diddy getting arrested is huge. And of course, the other guy that got arrested that hung himself, quote unquote, in his jail cell, Epstein, Epstein. Another example, Harvey, what's the other guy, the Hollywood producer that got indicted as well, Harvey Weinstein, I think his name is. You could see how the dominoes are falling in this area. Now, why is this important? This is a huge area. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, they use trafficking of all kinds in these affluent, highfalutin, power structures, politics, entertainment, business, the whole 9 yards. This has been going on for thousands of years. This is nothing new, but now it's being exposed. We're seeing it for what it is. So we see that going on. Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. And so this is very important. Oh, and we also had, going back to the Russia-UK thing, UKR thing, one of the Rothschilds is actually admitting, and I posted it on social media, his quote about how if the UKR goes down, that country that starts with UKR goes down, this would be detrimental to their system. And I've had many people ask me, why is the UKR so important? That's where all the dirty money goes from all of the things that they do around the world, friend. That's the piggy bank. That's the banking system. All the dirty money, all the drug money, the trafficking money goes through the UKR. This is why it's important, okay? And it's been proven. So this is what's going on here. And so this is a major time for us to go through these changes, these massive changes. And so we have to, those of you listening to my voice and following me, please hold a higher vibration. That higher vibration is in here, not in here. This is a wonderful tool. It's a great processor. Love this thing. But it's in here, in your energy field here. This is where the heart is. This is where your spirit resides, okay? And, they work together, obviously. But the more you hold a steady frequency, I will do the best I can. I realize I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I realize all this chaos is being orchestrated on purpose. I will not feed into it. I will take time out to spend time with my children. I will take time out to spend time in nature. I will decompress. I will basically level myself into what's real in this world. And then you go back if you need to know, and all this information coming in. I understand that. We are being bombarded by so much information right now because we're all curious. It's like we're waking up. We're like, oh, we're curious. What's going to happen? What's going to happen with the political theater? What's going to happen over there? What's going on over here? I can't tell you how much information I have to go through on a daily basis. I have friends sending me information all the time. I have the social media post constantly posting new information that maybe I overlooked. I'm only one person. And then, so it's overwhelming at times. So we have to be careful of not overwhelming ourselves at this time. So all I'm saying is in the next 6 months, starting today, actually, it's already started with the eclipse in Pisces on the 17th. This doorway that opens up all the way till about the middle of 2025 is continuing. It's going to be pure, unadulterated chaos, change, surprises, restlessness, irritability, frustration. And it's something we have to go through. It just has to be that way. Now, this could be something good for us. If you want to make in your personal life, if you want to make a change of some kind, okay, you could do it now because the universe is going, okay, let's shake things up. So wherever this eclipse is going to fall in your own personal birth chart, if you know your personal birth chart, this is a great opportunity to reinvent yourself, to say, okay, I'm going to harness this energy. I'm going to try something new. Okay. And I'm going to go in a new direction. I'm going to not be overwhelmed by all this garbage going on. I'm going to try something new. That's what solar eclipses are. There are new doorways that open up for the next 6 months to a year. They are wide open. So maybe take this opportunity to embrace the change in your own personal life and see what you can do with it. And yes, the energy is going to be a little irritating because Mars will also go retrograde in December the 6th, all the way through, I believe, the end of February. It will be retrograde, which means going backwards. And Mars is our motivation symbolically. It's in Cancer. So if you're a Cancer, it's going to affect you the most. Where if you have Cancer in your chart, it's going to affect you the most. But it'll affect everyone. Okay? Water signs, especially Pisces, Scorpio, you'll be affected by this because it's like a drag. It's like you're being pulled back within yourself. And so you'll feel it. We're all going to feel it, especially in the United States, because Mars in Cancer is going to affect the United States. This is why we astrologers are saying this. We're not trying to be negative and pessimistic. We're seeing, some big changes coming, some big alignments happening. And we're going, hey, prepare yourself. The energy's coming in. It's going to be destructive, and on some level. And maybe it's not going to be that big. Maybe it's not going to be that, that significant. But anything to do with military, war, conflict, riots, protests, earth disruptions, all kinds of other strange anomalies, especially things having to do with water, particularly water as well. I've said this before. Watch the coastlines, because if we do have volcanic activity or earthquakes or something, they do affect the coastlines more than anything else. So be around water more around this time would be very good, very helpful. It's very soothing, very relaxing. Going to a pond or a lake, taking a longer shower, a bath, a swimming pool, whatever. Okay. Very important time. So this is going to be monumental. When we look back at this 6 months from now, hopefully we could see everything that's occurred. But the real big news is the United States will be affected by this eclipse coming up and the Mars retrograde, and most importantly, Mars opposing Pluto. And you can look it up online, friends. There's so many other fabulous astrologers that are saying the same exact thing. These alignments that are coming in are very strong. And so we have to deal with it, right? We don't go, oh God, end of the world. No, it's the end of the world as we know it. And that's what I've been saying since 2012. It's the end of the world as we know it, because a new world is trying to be birthed into existence. And this is all in 2025, the second half of 2025 into 2026. Now, there is good news here. 2026, there's some fabulous alignments with the outer planets. So either there's new systems, there's a new energy that washes over us, or there's some activity that's occurring that makes things so much beneficial. And I'm saying this as an astrologer. Many other astrologers are seeing 2026 looks pretty damn good. March, April, May of 2026. So something has occurred. Something is going on. And so this could be anything. Could be maybe there's UFOs that show up and start talking, possibly. I'm just putting that out there, friends, because of the vision I had in 2008, 2009. There were UFO craft all over the place. Now, there's plenty of sightings. I've actually seen, I have friends with the professional night vision goggles. I was living in Sedona. We'd go out there at night and we would see 20, 30 of them a night in an hour or 2 hours. And we know they're not satellites because they were zigzagging and doing all kinds of maneuvers that a satellite doesn't do. And we could clearly see them with the night vision goggles. And so we know there are objects up there and they're not asteroids. Asteroids don't zigzag. They're just straight across. So we are seeing a lot of that. And believe me, whoever these beings are, they could be humans like us with just high levels of technology. They could be interdimensional. They could be from under the earth. They could be from another planet. We don't know. Time travelers, absolutely. But we know there's plenty of them. And the history has been written. I mean, everything, there's so much evidence on this topic if we wanted to get into it. But this is a real possibility as Pluto makes its way back into Aquarius, November the 19th. Aquarius rules space, technology, extraterrestrials, innovation, doing things in a new way. And so there's another indicator, another symbolic way of looking at things. Next year, as I've said repeatedly, Pluto will be in Aquarius. Uranus will absolutely go into Gemini. I believe that's in July of next year. And then we have the two planets, Saturn and Neptune, that are going to go into the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. And that is going to be huge. That happens in March, and they conjunct, I believe, in 2026, adding more energy to the equation. So you could see here, this is why I love astrology. It's such a powerful tool to understand cycles and patterns and trends. It's not written in stone, friends. I get a lot of people, well, astrology doesn't prove anything. You can't. No, astrology is not meant to prove anything. Astrology is to indicate to you the cycles that are coming in, the patterns that are coming in, the energy that's coming in, and what you do with it. Remember, we have the source's energy in us. That's what's powering this suit. This is what's all around this universe. We have some sort of energy that is running everything, okay? But we have control over this suit. This is the only thing we have control over, this suit. Our minds, our emotions, where we want to go, what we want to do, what we want to place our bodies in, and so on, and how we view the world. The more we get to that understanding, and each of us does that, we hold the light in us bright, the more it affects other people around us. That's how it works, friends. That's exactly how it works. Okay. And you'll start noticing these little patterns. Like, for instance, now animals are drawn to me. I mean, the birds, dogs, cats, whatever it is. I mean, and I've said this before, and especially when I was on with Jason at the end there, I had a hummingbird come up to me. I'm in an RV park here right now. Just sit there and hover in front of me for about 5 seconds, 7 seconds or so, as if to say, "Hey, I notice you. You're interesting." It was almost there was almost like a telepathic communication with this bird, and hummingbirds are very high vibrational little creatures that are constantly moving. For this thing to sit there right in front of me, it was maybe about 2 feet in front of me, and just hover there for 5 to 6 seconds, as if to say, I trust you. I'm curious. Who are you? What are you here to do? I'm just here to show you me. You see? So it was a beautiful experience, and it was again another reminder of what's real. That hummingbird has the source in it. It's doing what it's doing, and so this is why it's important to stay in that mindset. This is why it's important to stay in that higher vibration as we go through these chaotic moments. Don't just get wrapped up in the politics. Don't just get wrapped up in the chaos. Please, friends, it's a low vibration. It's being used to control your energy, to control your emotions. So don't feed into it. Don't go down that road. Okay? So let me look at my notes here. I'm going to take a couple of questions before we sign off. We're going to sign off in about 6 or 7 minutes because I want people to get prepared for the next Zoom call in my private community. The link is down below. I've also got my moderators in the chat. They've been putting up the link, but you'll see a link down below. So please, visit there. Let's see here. The asteroid, war in the Middle East. I think I pretty much covered everything here. The alignments. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to take a few questions here. So my moderators, if you have a few questions in the last few minutes before we click over, that would be wonderful. Here we go. I see a question coming in right now. I have, let's see, what are your thoughts about the fall equinox? Well, all the equinoxes are turning points. And the fall represents the fall of the sun. Everything in astrology and everything in religions in the ancient cultures, they all knew this, that when the sun is going up to the high point, when it crosses over the equator, it is going up, it is rising. The sun has risen, the sun is rising, the Passover, you see, as it goes to the high point, and then it starts going down. So the fall represents the sun going into its fall, and it dies in the sign of Scorpio. This is why the sign of Scorpio is represented by death. You see, so the fall equinox represents a preparing for the fall of the sun to go down. It's when we have less daylight, and the powers that shouldn't be know this. This is why they love doing their rituals and all kinds of psychopathic stuff in October, because they manifest the chaos that they want on the planet. So the fall equinox, to me, is just a preparation time. And then, of course, this is in the northern hemisphere because the southern hemisphere is different. So it is basically about the preparation for less light coming in and preparing for the future. That's what it's all about. Okay, so that's what the fall equinox represents to me. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking at some notes here. What cosmology does the channel subscribe to? Okay, I'm not quite sure. I use the Western Tropical Astrology, which uses the equinoxes. Okay, so this is not sidereal. This is basically Western astrology, and it's still pretty accurate. Sidereal, which is the Vedic astrology, actually uses the constellations because the constellations have moved throughout time, so we know that. But if you use the same cosmology of the equinoxes every quarter, it'll still be accurate. All right, so let me see. When you speak of U.S., would it also relate to Canada, or Canada as a totally different? Well, Canada, unfortunately, is a totally captured operation. So whoever asked that question, let me take a look here. Who asked that question? Marianne Frank. Okay. When I talk about the United States is so important right now because of the Pluto return. So whatever occurs here, all eyes are on the United States. Okay. Because whatever happens here trickles into other countries. Now, the problem with Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, and all these other countries, you guys, your politicians are literally completely controlling you. Okay. They give you freebies. They give you this. They promise you the world, and their politicians are completely under the thumb of the globalists. And you folks have become complacent. At least here in this country, we have the moon in Aquarius. We're feisty. Not that we're better. We're feisty. We like to rebel. We like being independent. We like, challenging these criminal politicians. And that's what they are. Okay. So yes, it will affect every country in some way, in some regard. And so keep an eye on that. Because whatever happens here this next couple of months is going to trickle into other countries. And you've already seen that in your country, with the trucker thing going on. Okay, so here's another question. Is the lunar eclipse a preview of the solar eclipse? No, it's not. It's not really a preview. Lunar eclipses are ending cycles. So something is coming to an end or a realization, and then something new comes into effect. But that lunar eclipse does have a solar eclipse attached to it previously, way before. It could have been a year, 2 years, 3 years before, whenever that eclipse hit in that sign. The lunar eclipse followed up with an ending cycle. I hope that makes sense. That's how they work because, the sun is constantly going around with the moon. So when one cycle ends, a new cycle opens. So every 2 years or so, you'll see the solar eclipse that is affected with that lunar eclipse. Okay. So a few more questions here. Anita, when will things get calmer again? It's not 2025, Anita. I'm sorry to have to say. It's more likely 2026 because the alignments in 2026 look so much nicer. They look so much better. Okay. But the next 6 months is definitely this wave of chaotic energy coming in because of Mars in retrograde, Mars against Pluto, and in the United States' chart. So it's not going to be like every day. It'll be every week or every couple of weeks. All of a sudden, these activities or these things occur that cause more chaos. You see? And these waves of energy that come in and continue to bombard our bodies. Because I feel them. I know when something's going on in the heavens or a solar flare is going off, all I got to do is, oh shit, something's going on. I go to my tools and I see where there's, this chaotic energy coming in. All right. Hope that helps you. Here's another one. Do I see Hollywood falling? Yeah, it's falling. It's already fell. It's going away, because technology and because of the corruption there. All right, I got a question from Bob. What kind of energy are we looking around December 24th? A slow energy, a chaotic energy, slowing down. Mars is already retrograded. And I believe we have, and I didn't look at the time frame over there. I'm just looking at my astrology book here, to see where the alignments are. But it's not that great. We have, let's see, December, we have a full moon, and we have Mercury that's slowed down. It's a very quiet time, Bob. There's nothing major or eventful going on there that I see, but that doesn't mean nothing's going to happen. Let me see here. Yeah, we're going to be going quietly into 2025, scratching our heads going, what the hell is going on? Okay, and especially having to do with the election nonsense. So, all right, so Zen asks, others say that by 2027, there will be a huge war. Well, that is possible, Zen. All I could say is that 2027, in my vision, and I've said this on Jason Brashear's Archaics channel when I did the interview with him, that one of the visions I saw when I did the magic mushrooms was, and it showed me perfectly, August, September 2027. It was very vivid that 3 volcanoes were going to go off simultaneously. So as far as war goes, I think it's not war that we need to be concerned about. It's about the earth changes that are going to occur, okay? Because the earth is going to affect everything. The wars may occur starting now going into 2025. That's not to say 2026 is perfect and everything's hunky-dory. Remember, this group of psychotics or whatever's controlling the simulation is not going to let go of power very easily. Okay, so they're going to constantly keeping the news going with chaos and fear and this person did that and you're this and you're that. Again, it's a battle of will and consciousness and spirit. So is there a war? Mars opposing Pluto is the war indicator. And so unfortunately, there is that possibility. Okay, from now until 2026. That's the strongest point. 2027, I don't know. I haven't looked into war at that point. Okay, I'm still focusing on doing the astrology for 2024 and 2025. Okay, anyway, I think that's the last question. All right, yes, I'm going to wrap it up now so to give people a chance to get over to my community. The link is down below. My moderators have also put it in here. Okay, it's school.com truth seeker /truth seeker. The link is down below. I'm getting my folks prepared, for questions, and I'm going to cover some more of these topics. But like I said, I'm going to go into some of the charts of the main characters, and I'm going to be talking a lot more freely over there, friends. Okay. So anyway, I want to give you guys a heads up. Thank you so much to my subscribers that have been following me for years, and thank you to all the new people that have joined in. Okay. Get up to speed quickly, all right, and start spreading the news about information and what's really going on, and don't feed into the fears, all right? Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you guys soon on the next video, all right? Bye for now.